Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another night here on the pole. We're going to be getting ready here. As you see, everybody lined up here for heat number 1. Starting out there on the pole here at Hickory for your whiskey run here tonight. It is going to be out there. Greg Parley starting on the pole there in the 04. Chris Klein there in second. Greg Bristol starts third in the number 39 for Leviathan Motorsports, the 15. Jeff Clifton starting there in fourth. Row number 3 on that inside, Mr. Money Shift himself, Frank Griffith for Stinger Motorsports. Driving a 54, starts fifth with Dustin Logston there for Nerd Motorsports there in the 81. Starts sixth, Big Ingram there in the 16. Starts in seventh tonight. That is your starting grid for heat number 1 as they'll come here off turn number 4. Down and away, the loud pedals hit the floor. Here we go in the corner number 1. Side by side, the 04. Greg Parmalee getting up to a great early lead there as they work in the corner 3 and 4. Short track racing at its best here this Friday night as we're here with the Whiskey Run. And already Frank Griffith having issues back here. And more of them. You see Jeff Clifton back here having issues coming there off turn number 2. And it'll work down there now off turn 3 and 4. Heading here towards the front. Back down into corner number 1. Chris Klein out there in second, right behind Greg Parmalee. These drivers really trying to find the groove they need. And down there now off of the corner they go. And down around goes the 51. We see them here, and I'm sorry, I have the wrong thing up here. Give me a moment as we'll clear this up as we watch this here. What brought out the caution? Chris Klein in the 15. Bagger on the backstretch, getting dipped there onto the inside, down across the apron. All right, now let's go ahead and get back live here. You saw there what happened to Griffith. Or we'll take another look here to see what happened to Griffith here. As he had some trouble there at the beginning himself. Down that back straightaway. I don't know if he missed a shift or what he might have done there. He skates it through turn 3 and 4 and just brings it to rest down there on the bottom. Back live here, though, as they come there in the corner 3 and 4 down the front straightaway. Headed on out there. And they're side by side to 15. Jeff Clifton once again to his outside. Here comes that 16 of Joshua Ingram there to the inside of Clifton, making a great run there on the bottom. I think work there now off turn number 4. Cliff Griffith not having much luck there. Oh no, more calamity there through turn 1 and 2. And they'll get it straightened out there, but checkered flag comes out as that was the final lap. Checkered flag waves for Greg Parmalee in the 04, bringing home the victory here in heat race number 1. All right, here we are now. We'll get with heat 1 here. Your heat 1 results. Greg Parmalee there out front getting that win. Jeff Clifton there second. Chris Klein in second. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris Klein in third. Joshua Ingram there in 4th. Griffith 5th. Craig Bristol finishes there in 6th with Dustin Logston there in 7th. All right, now on to heat number 2. As they get started here, we see them getting fired up here, ready to rock and roll. Starting out there on the pole for heat number 2, here for your Whiskey Run Street Stocks tonight at Hickory Speedway. Scott Tice in the number 24. Andy Patton there in the 87. And row number 2 on that inside one for Tier 1 Motorsports, the 42 of Aaron Longworth driving there in 3rd position with Tim McDowell, who is outside there driving a 45. Row number 3 on that inside for Riding Dirty, the number 70 of Stephen Rex. And who is outside, Adam Clark in the number 32 for Clark Racing. And back there at the back of the pack for Figure Farm Motorsports / 1 Point Racing, that will be D.B. Runkle. They're driving a number 11. You see that number 24 Trans Am there on the outside. They work there off turn number 4. They're down and away. Little bump and shove there on that inside lane here through corner number 1 and 2. Now here off corner number 4, and it's stupid little thing decided to goof us up. So Aaron Longworth, hang on to it, Tim McDowell going around. And Runkle, apparently you didn't need that front bumper. As Tim McDowell went around, nowhere for him to go. For the DV Runkle, who's down there on that inside, minding his own business down there, just trying to work his way through the field. And the 45 just kind of scoots there in front. And Runkle just gets on the binders, just carrying too much speed, and gets into the side of him. There we watch him coming back there now out of the corner. All right, pace cars off. Here they go down here out of the corner. It's going to be Scott Tice out there in front. Aaron Longworth in second. Steve Rex there in second. No, I'm sorry, in third now. Now they work there off the corner. Not sure why that's not coming up now. Adam Clark there in fifth. DB Runkle back here in. Now he's up to fifth, getting that car moving forward a little bit as he gets up there behind Adam Clark, who's driving at number 32 here tonight. Andy Patton back here in the number 3rd spot, driving the 87 Trans Am. The 24 Scott Tice there out front. Aaron Longworth in the 42 AC Delco machine, working there off turn 3 and 4, trying to see we got 3 laps to go here for Scott Tice as he works there off corner number 2 down that back straightaway. Got a little loose there. They work down through off the corner. Runkle back there in fifth, trying to get up there a little bit as they keep working here, working off. 2 laps to go here at Hickory for heat number 2. Aaron Longworth there in second. Andy Patton third. Adam Clark there fourth. DB Runkle there in fifth. Tim McDowell there in sixth. Stephen Rex there in seventh. Now you watch Scott Tice rolling around there. Final lap, white flag in the air as Tice is out there leading the way. Aaron Longworth there in second. Andy Patton there in the third. And yeah, that's fun for me. Adam Clark there. Now here comes Scott Tice taking home that checkered flag here in heat number 2. Aaron Longworth in second, Andy Patton there third. We'll get your finished results right here. Your finished results, Scott Tice, Aaron Longworth, Jacob. Wait a moment here. There we go. Jason Longworth, Andy Patton, that is Andy Patton, Adam Clark, DB Runkle gets fifth, Tim McDowell in sixth, and T-Rex back here in seventh. All right, we're going to be back after this short message as we get with your late model stock heat races. So don't go anywhere, more racing coming up.
You down. These late nights turn to days. Don't wanna let you down.
Okay.
With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same.
All right, good evening there, Scott. Greg, how's it going tonight? Oh, wait, hold on.
But I don't want
There we go. All right. So, we're set here. Good. All right now. Good evening there, Greg. And Scott, how's it going tonight?
It's going good.
Well, what do you think we can expect from Hickory here later as we head on? I think, Greg, you won Heat Race 1 and Scott got Heat Race 2, correct? Or do I have that backwards?
No, you got that right. Greg won the first heat.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought Greg won first and then...
Oh, sorry, I had my push-to-talk on here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are, Greg. So, Greg, you got the win there in Heat 1. Kind of take us through, how'd you think that street stock felt here for you tonight? I mean, you look pretty good out there. Might have gotten a little loose here and there, though.
Yeah, I tell you what, them first 3 or 4 laps, that was a handful. I was kind of right on the edge there and about lost it a couple of times, so I had to back down a little bit. And I was just trying to keep it up front and stay out of trouble, and got lucky. And, yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I just want to go fast.
You just want to go fast. Okay. Kind of hard to go fast here at the short tracks, though.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of luck, a lot of strategy. You just kind of have to save your tires, I think. I don't have a lot of time on this track, so I think, like I said, luck's going to be involved for sure. And like I said, you're just going to have to keep your head on a swivel and try to stay out of trouble for 50 laps? And it should be fun.
Well, you look good out there so far, and hopefully you can keep it together all in one piece as we get here ready for the late model stocks, and we'll see what luck you have in those.
I appreciate it.
So
and,
you got before you hop over there, you got sponsor shots. Anybody you want to thank for getting that win in Heat 1 of the street stocks?
Sure, I want to thank you and everybody that puts on this league, and Kirkpatrick Construction and 4Cs. Is it construction? Yeah, everybody involved that's behind it, and Frank for getting everything set up and getting everybody together. We have a good bunch of racers, lots of fun. It's a great Friday night, good time. So, like I said, and definitely appreciate the broadcast.
Well, our pleasure, and so we'll see you in the late model stocks there, Greg, and see if you can pull out another win or not.
All right, thank you. You have a good one.
All right, now, Scott Tice, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Hopefully I can keep doing well. Looks like you've been having yourself a decent night here tonight, getting there, decent starting position, and then finishing there in the first position of your heat race there in heat race number 2. So, seems like you had a good night so far.
Yeah, I mean, man, these things feel like tanks running around here, and definitely loose. So you know, just gonna have to conserve tires and be smooth, and try not to cause a wreck and avoid wrecks. And but these guys, they're great to race with and having a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens.
Well, hopefully we'll see if it continues that way here through the late model stocks. You got people you want to thank, shout-outs of any sorts there for getting the second heat win here tonight, I guess is what I was trying to go for, the win in heat number 2.
Absolutely. We want to thank all these guys that come out and race every Friday night and do this. It's a lot of fun. Thank the guys that set it up, man. I mean, there's no give up in any of these guys, and that's awesome. And thanks Kirkpatrick Construction for helping put this on, and thank you for broadcasting it.
It's our pleasure. So great job there so far tonight, Scott, and we'll see how well it goes there going forward.
All right.
All right, so Frank, I think we're ready to go here with the late model stocks whenever race control deems it ready.
All right, I'll try not to put it in the fence.
Well, I'd be more worried about your nickname I'm giving you about Money Shift.
Hey, I'll take it. All right.
All right, here we go. Getting with heat number 1 here as they get ready to roll it out. And each drivers here make an effort of some sort. All right, here we go. Down here off the corner they go. Here is your heat 1 grid. If I can get it to come up here, if it wants to play nice. I don't want to play nice here. Let's try this again. Normally nights, and some nights this works as planned, other nights it wants to be a pain. And it looks like tonight it's wanting to be a pain. So try to get you your, oh, that's no. Let's see if we can get it up here. Lights are out, so I'm not going to be able to get you the starting grid for heat number 1. We'll at least get it rolling here for heat number 2. They come there now off the corner. Great job here by these drivers. Get down through the back stretch. Here in the corner number 1 or 3 and 4, Craig Bristol out there up top. And it looks like you're having issues on your end. So we'll turn this off a moment. Andy Patton back there in 6th. Greg Parmerly there in 7th. As Ricky Barbre there out front, leading the way in at number 29. Off through 1 and 2 onto the back stretch here. There we go, it came live there. Jeff Clifton out there in 2nd. Aaron Longworth in 3rd. Scott Tice back here in 4th with Craig Bristol in 5th as they keep it rolling there out of the corner. Andy Patton there in 6th. Greg Parmerly in 7th. Joshua Ingram there in 8th. Pete Paulini and Tony Graham did not take the grid here for heat number 1 as they roll it down there. 6 laps to go here at Hickory for your Whiskey Run 100 of the late model stocks tonight, presented by 4C's Tools and Equipment. Thank you to our sponsors there. You'll see them flashing there in the top right corner. Yeah, we got Ricky Barbre out there still leading the way. Beautiful looking purple and neon numbered machine out there. Craig Bristol, Scott Tice, Andy Patton, Greg Parmerly there. The Big Show, Joshua Ingram there in 8th. Rounding out the field here as they roll off a turn 4. 2 laps to go here for Ricky as he works off a turn 2. Down there on the bottom side is Jeff Clifton. A little loose there up into the outside wall. He's putting some deck there into the outside front fender of that machine. White flag in the air for Ricky Barbre as they work down the back straightaway, heading here off. Great looking drop there from Ricky. Now Aaron Longworth getting there to the bumper of Jeff Clifton as they work there off turn 4. Clifton keeps it out of the wall, but Ricky Barbre will get the win here tonight in heat number 2. In your 4C's SRA late model stocks here tonight. All right, here we go for heat number 1 results. They're going to be Ricky Barbet out there in first, Jeff Clifton there second, Aaron Longworth in third, Craig Bristol there in fourth, Scott Tyson fifth, Andy Patton in sixth, Greg Parmalee in seventh, the Big Ingram there in eighth, Pete Polini there in ninth, and Tony Graham there in 10th. All right, here we go. In for your grid on your late model stocks. Steve Rex out there on pole for Riding Dirty. Driving to number 6, starts on pole. Frank Griffith there. Money Shift himself, the number 54 for Stinger Motorsports in the second position. Samuel Longworth starting into number 7 here tonight will start third. Drew Holleran there in the 015 starts fourth with the number 81 for Nerd Motorsports starting there on the inside of row number 3. Dustin Logston there in fifth. Tim McDowell starting number 45 there in 6th tonight. The 51 for Num Thumbs Racing. Chris Klein starts in 7th. Adam Clark, the number 32 for Clark Racing, there in 8th tonight with RKR Reds. Kegel Racing starting there in 9th. As they roll it down there off turn number 1 they go. Steve Rex out there in front. There we go. The power cooperated here this time. As they come through turn 1 and 2. Samuel Longworth there in second. Drew Holleran there in third. Caution already out. As we'll see here who it was. Adam Clark had issues back here. As they're oh no. Looking there like Money Shift done did it again. They're coming through turn 1 and 2. Drops all the way back, and then the 45 getting just a little loose there. Tim McDowell, Adam Clark back here in the 8th spot. See what happens to him as they work here off turn number 4. Watching it here live. There, you just see it. He just ends up sideways there. Oh. 45 there of Tim McDowell ends up with problems. Joseph Canales did not take the grid, so he is currently not on the racetrack. We'll see if he comes in for the feature, but he is currently not here on the limited late model stocks. Green flags back out here as they come down the front straightaway. Steve Rex out there in front. I'm sorry, no. Thought he was. Yeah, he looks like he's out front there. Adam Clark. Oh, wait a moment. But scoring pylons all screwed up. We're trying to get that fixed here. Steve Rex out there in front. Samuel Longworth there in second. Logston back there in third. Klein back here in fourth with Drew Holleran there in fifth. Frank Griffith, the Money Shift, back here in 6th. And I think we might have saw a little bit of Money Shift there at the beginning of the race. As he comes down there now out of corner number 3 and 4 goes Steve Rex. Sam Longworth there in 2nd. Logston there in 3rd. Mireful of Chris Klein, though, as they work there now off of turn 2 down that back straightaway for another time. For the Whiskey Run 100. Down there through off turn number 4, down across the line. Logston there in 3rd. Longworth there 2nd. Rex there out front. As they keep everything going there. Drew Holleran there in 5th. Frank Griffith back there in 6th. Has that number 015 of Drew Holleran. Tries to work underneath the 51 of Chris Klein. Can't quite get there. Steve Rex down there on the bottom. 4 laps to go, coming to 3 to go as he works there now off turn number 4. Sam Longworth there in 2nd. Dustin Logston there 3rd. Chris Klein in 4th. As Drew Holleran, Chris Klein in trouble. Loose as a goose out there all over the racetrack. Ends up around. And that's going to bring out your caution as he slides it through turn 3 and 4. As that is our second caution. And we kind of saw this happening here. As he worked through turn 1 and 2, it just happened to be so loose there. Up there on the top. Ends up getting clipped there. Not sure by who. It looks like the 015 there of Drew Hollering might have clipped him just a little bit there coming out of turn 2. Got him loosened, and he just couldn't quite keep it collected there going through turn 3 and 4. And around he went. 3 laps to go, or it might be 2 laps to go here. They'll go green flag this time. Single file for the restart. Dustin Loxton there in third. Here they go. Off of turn 4. Down here out of corner number 1 they go. Down there through turn 3 and 4. Or, I'm sorry, down there through 1 and 2. Heading into 3 and 4 now is Steve Rex out there in front. Sam Longworth out there in second. Dustin Loxton there in third. White flag in the air for Steve Rex. That's Steve Rex down there on the inside on 1 and 2. Longworth out there in second. The logger of Logston working on the inside there in the 81. Drew Hollering there in the 4th position. Well, there underneath is not going to engage any better position as Steve Rex out there in front. Taking home the win here in heat number 1. Or I'm sorry, in heat number 2. All right, now we'll get with your winner here of the heat. And heat number 1, that was, well, we'll bring up heat number 2 results here. That's Steve Rex. Samuel Longworth there in second. Dustin Loxton there third. Drew Holler in there fourth. Frank Griffith there fifth. Tim McDowell there in sixth. Chris Klein there in seventh. Adam Clark there in eighth. Joseph Canellis there in ninth. And there for heat number 1, it's going to be Ricky Barbray. All right. Thank you there, Frank, for helping us out there, getting a hold of these guys. All right. Good evening there. And Ricky, how's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Well, you got the win there for heat number 1. Can you take anything you learned from that to help move you through into the feature event here in a little while?
Oh, yeah, that was just a quick dash, just to see how the car felt. During the race, it's all about being consistent and keeping the tires on so we don't burn them off too soon.
Well, you did a great job there in the heat, so it'll be interesting to see what you got going forward here in the feature. You got sponsors, shout-outs, people you want to thank for getting that victory to here for heat number 1.
Thanks, everyone putting this on. Appreciate the broadcast and appreciate VHM Performance for helping me out before the race, and looking forward to seeing what we do in the future.
All righty, well, great job again there, Rex, and Ricky, we'll see how that works there in the feature for you. Steve Rex, how's it going?
Going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How do you think your car felt there, and do you think you can kind of same question that I had for Ricky? Can you take what you learned there in that heat race and apply it to the feature?
I believe so. I mean, it was a short race, but I kind of got a good feel for the car. It's going to be about saving tires, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, you guys only get the set that you start with, so, I mean, it is all about saving tires here at SRA.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100 laps, it's going to, we're really going to have to conserve at the beginning. You burn them up too early, and that's your race. You're done.
Oh, that most definitely. And the other thing is you don't want to heat them up too quickly either, correct?
No, you don't. You don't want to burn up the right rear. This setup is kind of running tight, so I don't think it's going to be loose, but if you get late in the run, it may get loose. Maybe like 60, 70 laps into it, you could have a different problem. So we'll see.
Well, and here's the other thing you keep in mind, Steve, is some of the drivers might think it's tight right now, but I know some of the other drivers, they might say that it might have felt a little loose.
Yeah, it depends where you put it on the track. If you're down low trying to wrap the corner, it's going to get loose coming out. But if you just move it up half a lane, it's tight. So you got to find that fine line when you want to run it loose and be on the bottom, or when you want to tighten it up and be on the top. It all depends how you're working your way through traffic.
And there's going to be traffic to work through. As I think we got about 19 drivers here in the late model stock, so good turnout here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, you got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting that heat win here?
Well, I welcome or thank Frank for putting this together, you for broadcasting, and then all my teammates over at Riding Dirty.
Alrighty, well, we'll see how the feature goes for you. We'll see who comes out on top, whether it's you, Ricky, or you, or if somebody else in the field might end up there on the top, coming there for the finish of your Whiskey Run 100 tonight. All right, we'll be back here after these short messages. Don't go anywhere. More racing action coming up here in just a few moments.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
Precision is our language. Creativity is our weapon. And perfection is the only option. Your ride, your brand, your image, elevated to a level that can't be ignored. This isn't just a wrap, it's a revolution. Regal Wraps and Designs, where power meets style, and style becomes unforgettable. At Regal Wraps and Designs, we don't follow trends, we set them. Every line, every finish, every detail is built to dominate. From flawless vehicle wraps to bold custom designs, We take your vision and redefine it. Seamless statements, artful accents, hues of harmony. We are Regal Wraps and Designs.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart.
Welcome back here to Hickory Speedway, and obviously that didn't save the way I needed it to. This is the Whiskey Run. I don't know why it changed, you know what I mean? And we're getting ready here for the main event of your street stocks here tonight at Hickory, as we'll get here with our starting position, rather. Oh, now why do you do this to me? There we go. Your starting grid will look like this. Out there on pole. Might have too much on that. We're going to tune this back just a little bit. There we go. All right, and we got Greg Parmalee starting out there on pole. Scott Tice there in second. Jeff Clifton will start third tonight inside row number 2. They're driving a number 15 for Leviathan Motorsports. Aaron Longworth for Tier 1 Motorsports driving a 42 starts fourth. Chris Klein for Nump Thumbs Racing starts with the number 51 in the 5th position with Andy Patton in the 87 who is outside. Row number 4 on that inside line. The big Ingram there in 7th. They're driving a number 16 who is outside. Adam Clark in a 32 for Clark Racing. Stinger Motorsports' own money shifter, the 54, Frank Griffith, starts in 9th. DB Ruggles to his outside. DB, you might want to watch yourself out there as you got that money shifter underneath you. 11th starts the 39 at Craig Bristol with Tim McDowell in the 45 in 12th. And 13th tonight, that's going to start Dustin Logston with Steve Rex back here in 14. There we go. Off corner number 4. They're down on the way. Green flag is out for your Whiskey Run 50 here tonight as they run down there through turn 1 and 2. Everybody side by side there now through 3 and 4. The 20 for Scott Tice up there on the outside. Just not getting anywhere. There comes Andy Patton in the 87. Down there on the inside, that Firebird down there. D.B. Runkle working the top side up above Frank Griffin still. And it looks like Runkle might get ahead of Frank here a little bit as there's contact there behind him with Adam Clark and Craig Bristol. Craig Bristol trying to hang it down there, and look out. We got one around. I don't know where he went. There he is. That looks to be Andy Patton in that Trans Am Firebird down there. Pontiac Trans Am Firebird. Take another look at it here. You'll see him coming through turn 1 and 2. The 42 gets into the back of him a little bit and just helps that Trans Am go around. Luckily, iRacing didn't say he needed to stay attached to that wall, so he was able to back up and get rolling once again. That's it on the pole. Instant replay here. First caution of the 50 laps. Lights are out. They're side by side. Ready to hit that hammer once again. Off turn 4 in the restart zone. They're down and away here on Hickory. The 04 Greg Parmalee doing a great job down there on the bottom. Jeff Clifton giving him a great run out there on that outside as they work now there through turn 3 and 4 and back out here onto the front stretch. Scott Tice sitting there as well. D.B. Rumble up 3 spots from where he started, having himself a good night here. Adam Clark down in the pits, having issues there as the 04 goes around. That will be Greg Parmalee going around there, and it looks like the 16 of Joshua Ingram gets collected it within that. So that'll bring out caution number 2 here. Here, watch him come there off turn number 4. Heading there in the corner number 1. You got the 32, Adam Clark down there, gets into the back of the 81. Gets spun around there. Coming down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Here we see that 16 there, and I'm not sure what happened here to the 04, as that is what we're trying to watch. Looks like he just hit a couple bumps. It loops around, and the 16 just nowhere to go. Finds him sitting down there on the bottom apron. Tice there in second. Clifton out front. Chris Klein there third. Aaron Longworth in fourth. Evie Runkle up 5 spots here in the 5th tonight. That's one thing. If Runkle continues to run here with SRA, which I'm hoping he does, he's looking really good out there in that 11 machine. And he's not the best at qualifying per se, but he can find a way to get these cars around the track, and we'll see how he does here throughout the night. And he's now on the inside of row number 3. He's got the 39 at Greg Bristol, but there is tough competition here at SRA as Jeff Clifton out there in front. The 04 Greg Parmalee, your Heat 1 winner, starting back here in the back. Scott Tice, Heat 2 winner, up there on the outside. Still trying to hang with the leaders as the 51 there. Chris Klein gets back underneath. The 42 cut down there in front of Runkle, but off of turn 2. Uh-oh. They're getting loose there, and we'll try to see what happened here. As looks like Adam, was that brought out by Adam Clark, possibly? Take a look at it here. Maybe that is, yeah, that's Adam Clark bringing it out down there on the bottom. See if we can figure out what happened here as he brought it out of the pits and just got onto the gas too hard on them tires. That cold, he cut the grass. That doesn't help either. Down there on the bottom, couldn't quite get it to roll. And that's going to bring out the caution right there. Out there under yellow, their lights are out as we get ready for yet another restart here. As caution number 3 goes and wanes. Out of Yadkinville, North Carolina, your leader, Jeff Clifton, will bring them to the flag. Scott Tice up there on the outside line. Green flag in the air. They're down and away. In the corner, number 1, Scott Tice does a great job trying to get it down there. And look out, the 42 goes around and collects Runkle. Runkle collects Frank Griffith and a few others. This is a big one here coming there through turn 1 and 2. See what happened here as we got a bunch of them that just kind of ended up all over each other here in turn 1. As you watch them come down through there, the 42 comes down the racetrack across Runkle's nose like he's done the last few laps. This time just not enough room. Runkle can't get checked up and gets tagged from behind from Frank Griffith. That's going to send him spinning the wrong way. Frank Griffith then gets shoved up the racetrack. They're all trying to squeeze up high. Nowhere to go. The 04 there of Greg Parmalee gets into the outside wall, and the 32 of Adam Clark gets sandwiched up there into the outside wall. Not what Runkle was wanting for his debut here with SRA. Runkle's car still looks okay for the most part. Those brake rotors really glowing like fireflies tonight. Now it looks like they might go. Are they going to go double file? Or are they going to stay single? We will see here as they come to the line. The line they come. And they're going to double them up once again. 42 up there on the outside. That is Aaron Longworth. There you go. Off turn number 4. They're down and away. Chris Klein there in third. Clifton gets out to a great start that time. Scott Tice stuck up on the outside this time as Chris Klein down there on the bottom. Craig Bristol works underneath the 42, gets around him. down there through turn 3 and 4. The 42 there of Longworth falling back there. The 81 of Dustin Logston back here in 6th right now. 9 of the 50 completed. They work there off turn number 2. Down that back straightaway, Ski Rex there into 70. Underneath the 45, Tim McDowell. Tim McDowell sideways. They're going to collect. They're going to split ways down the front straightaway. And oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh. Man, that hurts. And here we go. We'll take another look at it here for caution number 4 or 5 on the night. Here as you watch it come there off the corner. We're going to stay up higher here on the camera shot. So you can kind of see here the 70 and the 45 come together. They split. And Rungle just not enough room there. He gets shoved down there into that inside wall, non-intentionally, as the 04 there goes up. Rungle sees everything, tries to go low, but ends up not low enough. And the 16, the big Joshua Ingram there involved as well. Adam Clark in the 32. These drivers really having trouble here in the street stock division here tonight. Hopefully this isn't what we're going to see out of the late model stock. As lights go out, they're side by side once again. BB Rungle back here at the back, 32 there. Adam Clark trying to find out where he belongs in line. As BB Rungle works there on the bottom. Green flag is out there, down and away. Once again, Clifton out front. Chris Klein there, second. Scott Tice rolls there on the bottom. The 42, Aaron Longworth. He's hanging there on the bottom. These drivers getting real loose up here at the front. The 39 barely hanging on to it there off of turn 4. He whirls there. That's Craig Bristol now there through the middle of 1 and 2. Once again, trying to cut down a little bit, similar to what you saw the 42 of Aaron Longworth do. Now they work now through 3 and 4. The 81 there of Logston back underneath the 42 of Longworth. Longworth there trying to roll through the corner, ends up way down the racetrack. The 81 getting loose, had to back out of the throttle just a shade. The 04 there, Greg Parmalee, gets back up there to his bumper as they work there off the turn. Right? Griffith there underneath. Greg Parmalee there underneath now as well. Now you see that 87 of Andy Patton up there on the high side. That Firebird Trans Am. He is now loose through the corner right in front of Frank Griffith. And Rumble's trying to skate his way through there, and that's going to bring out caution number 6. You watch them come down into the corner. You see the 87 get into the back there of the 04. And they just kind of skate around there. Frank Griffith down there on the bottom. Adam Clark ducked into pit road. Tim McDowell there as well. Up on that high side as he gets up there behind D.V. Runkle. Down that back straightaway. Man, oh man, these guys are after it tonight. Jeff Clifton there out front. Scott Tice second. Chris Klein there third. Greg Bristol there in fourth. Dustin Logston there fifth. Yeah, you watch. There they come off the corner. And away they go. Jeff Clifton back out there in front. Chris Klein trying to get underneath the 24. Scott Tice will get there. Then drive them side by side there off the corner down that front back straightaway here through 3 and 4. Lap 16 of 50. And one thing you got to keep in mind is caution laps don't count, so that's just putting that much more on the tires. And the other question I wonder is fuel. Is there enough fuel in the tank to go this many laps with all these cautions? As they roll there now off the bottom, the 51 gets loose. Chris Klein had to gather it up. And D.B. Runkle once again has issues back here. This time involved with the 16 of Joshua Ingram. Area watcher come there in the corner, number 4. Runkle up there on that high side, really getting into it there, and the 16 Ingram just gets into the back quarter panel. Great job by Runkle locking it down there, not getting too much damage on that 11 machine, as the 16 brings it to a halt there as well. Seventh caution here for your street stocks. We're not even halfway through this race yet, folks. But I will say this much. This is typical Hickory from what I know of Hickory. Hickory Speedway, this is the action you get. It don't matter if it's legends, the street stocks, the late model stocks, it don't matter. This is what you're in for when you come to Hickory here on the iRacing circuit. Down there now off turn number 4. The lights are still on that pace machine. As they come around here onto the front straightaway. The 7th caution out there on the track right now. To the high side, you watch them double up. Lights go out. Fred will pull that pace car off. Barney grabs the green flag, unfurls it, and they're ready to roll here in the restart zone. They're down and away. Clifton gets off to another great start there. Tice down there on the top side, trying to stay there as Chris Klein's there underneath them off turn number 2. As they slide in there now in the 3 and 4 as they go and try to keep the cars from drifting. Keeping them as straight as possible as they work now off turn 4 up there on the top side, looking there at Andy Patton as he's above Greg Parmalee, who Greg Parmalee started up there on the front row and now is back here fighting in the 7th position. And they keep working there. Chris Klein there in a second as he worked underneath Scott Tice to get that 2nd spot, but look out above. Here comes Greg Bristol in that number 39 up there on that outside lane. Caution is out. D.B. Runkle problems again. This time, not sure what happened as we got Frank Rivet and the 45 of Tim McDowell involved as well. Caution number 8. We'll see what happened here as they come off. The 45 gets loose down there on the bottom. And they come together there in the corner. I don't think that was anything intentional. It's just, that outside line. Oh, man. Tough break there. Great job there. Oh, no. Man, oh, man. So that's how Frank got caught up into it. Is that car just all of a sudden hooked all the way right, and Frank didn't have anywhere to go really, and he watches those two underneath them, and they're both loose trying to get it caught up, and yeah, just, oh man, that's tough. Scott Tice down there on the inside lane, starting in 3rd now, as Chris Klein's there in 2nd. These drivers are probably longing for a good green flag run here. Clifton out there leading the way still in that number 15. As they'll bundle them back up side by side, restacking them. Barney grabs that green flag once again. They're going to be going down and away here as they reach the restart zone. Fred pulls off. Barney unfurls that flag, and they're down and away once again as they work through the straightaway into corner number 1 here at Hickory once again. Side by side, there's the 16. Joshua Ingram down there on the inside. They work up off the corner. And everybody fights for room down there. You see the 51 not wanting to give up. And he's down there on the bottom once again. Look out, the 81 there underneath the 39 of Craig Bristol. Dustin Logston trying to hang on to that. There, Greg Parmalee, he's making some moves up through the field here. As they're side by side working through turn 1 and 2 down that back straightaway once again. The 70 and the 81 touch there as they work in the corner 3 and 4. The 04, Greg Parmalee looking underneath, and the 16 goes around. That's going to be Joshua Ingram bringing out caution, number 9. I think he's got problems on the left front of that machine. Pretty sure he's got a problem on that left front. We'll see here. It rolls around there. There you what, down that back straightaway, here they come. The 16 back there, that yellow and black machine. Just in front of that Trans Am, just gasses it too hard, coming there out of turn 4. Around it goes, everybody squeaks by on the outside. All right, down there off turn number 2. They're stacked up side by side, ready to go racing once again. As Fred turns them lights off, gets ready to pull off the track and hand it back over to Jeff Clifton. And Scott Tice out there on that front row. Chris Klein down there on the inside once again. As they roll there off turn 3 and 4. Klein getting a great start there in third. Right on the bumper there. Through turn 1 and 2, looking back here through the field, see if they all can get through there okay. So far, so good. Out of turn 2 as they now work through turn 3 and 4. Clifton out there in front, the 39 there of Bristol. Battles on the outside of Logston as Logston's there. Here comes that 70 of Steve Rex. He started towards the back there tonight, and he's got himself up there in the 5th rate now. And he works there off turn 3 and 4. 23 laps to go. Here they now work through 1 and 2. Frank Griffith back here in 9th as they work there off turn 3. And oh no! Scott Tice ends up around on the back straightaway. Now I got a question. Is anybody out there keeping score of who's going around and who hasn't? Now here we see Scott Tice there in 2nd, coming there through off turn 2. Gets loose and it just loops around on him down there into that inside barrier. And we saw back there, looked like we had problems there with the 16 as well, Joshua Ingram. Not sure exactly what happened to Ingram there. See if we can get any picture on what happened to Ingram there as they come through there. Down there on the bottom, he's up there on the high side, down through turn 1 and 2. Him and Runkle make contact there through 1 and 2. Just tough racing here at Hickory. It's so hard to pass here at Hickory, and I give it up to these drivers. They're really trying to put on the best show they can, and Hickory is being Hickory tonight. That is all I'm going to say. This is typical Hickory as they work down the front straightaway. Jeff Clifton out there in front. Chris Kine there in 2nd. Logston on the outside, up above Craig Bristol, making that outside work for him there as they work down the back straightaway, and he'll slide up there a little bit And now they're going to go, they're going to go 3 wide. They are. They're going to go 3 wide. 81 gets smashed up there to the inside wall, or outside wall, and they'll just collect everybody there. Check it out, Runkle. And they all try to scatter through back here at the back and get through unscathed. And man, oh man, that was a big one there. Caution. Number 11 now here at Hickory for your street stock event. We watch them just all kind of go 3 wide here, and they lock together on that front straightaway, and just man, oh man, just problems going there trying to make it through the corner. These drivers try to get out of the way of one another, scattering all over the racetrack. Caution comes back out. There we go. Now on the back straightaway. Jeff Clifton out there in front here with the 11th caution with your whiskey run. Now here's a question here. You know, they called this the whiskey run here tonight. Were they giving away whiskey in the pits and that's part of the problem? Who knows? I don't know. Is there a whiskey truck down there? I don't know if it's corn or rye, but if there's some down there, if there's corn whiskey down there in them pits, somebody needs to bring some up here to the broadcaster here in the booth. I could use some good corn whiskey right now watching these guys down here on track tonight. All right, lights are out. There's bats doubling up once again. Bristol's down 2 laps. Clark's down 3. Back there at the back of the pack. Bronco, he's got himself up a position here. It's been tough battling here at Hickory tonight. Drivers have risen. Some have fallen. It's tough. As we see that 70, what a great start there from Steve Rex on the bottom as he's underneath the 51 of Klein. Gets a great restart, gets that second position now as they roll there in the 3 and 4, leaves the bottom open, so Klein's going to say thank you and try to work it coming off turn 4. That's Frank Griffin, and oh no! Ingram goes around again on the front stretch. And I saw that there, I think we saw that coming there off the front. Maybe Frank Griffin. We'll see here as they work down the back straightaway. He works there on the bottom. And we'll see here what happened. Him and Runkle get together again. Just not enough room there, as Runkle really didn't have any way to give him much more room, as Griffith was there and Runkle's outside. And, yeah, great job there for Runkle hanging on to that. Yeah, Ingram's down there on the inside wall once again. Folks, if you're watching and thinking about joining SRA, please take tonight's racing with a grain of salt. This is not typical of SRA, what we've seen in the weeks previous. This is, I don't know any better way to say it. This is Hickory. I think that's a combination of Hickory and possibly handing out whiskey there in the pits. That's my story that I'm going to stick to. I think these drivers are enjoying some whiskey down in them pits without me. Oh, there you see them coming there off turn number 4. Looking to possibly go side by side. Steve Rex, man, what a night he's had. Coming from 14th position. And working his way out up here in the second. Working up here trying to get a hold of the lead. Man, oh man, he's had a great night going there for Steve Rex in that number 70. Chris Klein there in 3rd. Dustin Logston there in 4th. Scott Tyson 5th. Tim McDowell there in 6th. Stevie Runkle there in 7th. There they now work off corner number 4 down the front straightaway. Pushed real hard there from Chris Klein to get around Steve Rex. Steve Rex up there on the outside. Now down through here through turn 3 and 4. Chris Klein Works on him once again as you see the 81 there of Logston up above Scott Tice. Scott Tice has been having a good night as well. Just unfortunate there as we see them having trouble there. And we see the front runners, a lot of them back here towards the back. As you see Joshua Ingram, Andy Patton, Greg Parmalee just not having the night he was hoping for. And Adam Clark, and oh no, once again they get together there with the 11 of D.B. Runkle. We'll see what happened here. Adam Clark and Frank Griffin getting involved in that. There you watch them come there off the corner. Try to see what happened here. Yeah, Runkle might have got a little help there from the 39. You'll see here as they go in the corner number 1. And it looks like, yeah, I don't know. It looks like he gets sandwiched between a couple of them, and just, man, that's just tough. He did a great job keeping it under control. You see that 45 come down and get into the side. That's going to knock him loose. The 39 carrying speed tries to stay out of him. Can't quite do so. So Frank Griffith gets into the back of the 39. And, man, caution number 12 on the night now. Side by side, they're lined up for another restart here in the corner number 4. Fred pulls off. Clifton gets it handed over to him, and they're down and away. Down the front straight away. Chris Klein working there in second with the 70. Steve Rex working underneath the 81 of Dustin Logston now as they work down through turn 3 and 4. The 24 is Scott Tice back here in 5th. Frank Griffin back here in 6th. Greg Parmalee's trying to get back up here towards the front. Right there behind him, and the 45's loose again. That's Tim McDowell trying to hang on to it there through 1 and 2. That's how they work here through 3 and 4. Got to really watch them tires. Don't want to get them heated up too much. 13 laps to go here at Hickory as they slide on through 1 and 2. Scott Tice there in 5th. Logston there in 4th now. Steve Rex there in 3rd with Chris Klein in 2nd. Clifton taking it out there in the lead as they work down there off the corner. As you see them all stack up there once again out of turn 2. Griffith, little loose. And now he gets down there in front of Ingram. Runkle now to his outside. Griffith's going to hang it low. Runkle's got to make sure he gives him room there through the corner. Ends up loose himself. Ends up into the outside wall. That's going to bring out the caution as Logston goes through the grass through 1 and 2 to bring out that caution. There we go, down there off corner number 1 and 2. And it looks like Tice just gets into the back of the 81, which sends the 81 around here tonight. Doesn't hit nothing, but that is what brought out the caution, that 81. Doing about a 540 down there through the infield. Chris Klein hanging on the 2nd right now with Clifton out there in the front. Everybody still hangs on there trying to keep a hold of the lead is Clifton. Getting here under 10 laps to go here soon. Been a long race already here for these street stocks. I can't imagine what those tires are like here on these machines. We got the lights out. We're going back. Green flag racing once red pulls off. Barney's got the flag. Here we go. Clifton gets control in the restart zone. They're down and away. And Steve Rex gets a great launch once again down there to the inside of Chris Klein as they work through turn 1 and 2. Klein doing a great job holding off the 70 there, Steve Rex, but he's going to have trouble keeping him held off for long as they now work down through the front straightaway. Rex there in second, as it shows right now. Chris Klein trying to battle off, give him a little bit of door shove there through the backstretch as they go here through off turn 4. Little beat and banging there between the 51 and the 70. As now they work there through turn 1 and 2. Clifton enjoying what he sees in the rearview mirror. That means Rex is being held up there. They can't get the optimal arc into the corner as they run down through the front straightaway. They come together there in the middle of 1 and 2, still trying to work their way here. Evie Rummel just trying to hang on here as that car looks extremely loose now after the night of racing they had here at Hickory. That 04 there, Parmalee, Tice there on the bottom, sitting there in 5th. Parmalee got himself back up here in the 4th. The 16 there, Joshua Ingram goes around. Frank Griffith does a great job. Oh, no. Ingram just backed it right into the front of Frank Griffith. So here we go once again. Frank Griffith, Joshua Ingram there on the outside. Working there through turn 1 and 2. Coming there off. Frank Griffith gets up there into the corner of Ingram. That's what sent him around. And then, Ingram giving him a little nudge there. A little thank you nudge there out of the 16 to the 54 Griffith. Clifton now off through the start. Down there on pit row is Griffith, as Griffith works there off now. Crew works to get a little bit of that cheek metal bent back out. Steve Rex there in 2nd. Klein there in 3rd. Parmalee there in 4th, as they got about 7 laps to go here at Hickory. We're under our 15th caution here. I think everybody side by side. We have 14 drivers in this. I think we have 19 drivers possibly signed up for the late model stocks. And they're running a 75 or 100 laps. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check that one. We'll get into that session there as Steve Rex there in 2nd. Pace cars off their single file restart this time. Steve Rex right on the bumper of Clifton as they now work down through turn 1 and 2. 5 laps to go as they work off turn 2. Trying to keep track of all the action. Frank Griffith back here in 10th. Ingram back here in 11th. Clark and Longworth down in the pits. Rex right there on the bumper of Clifton. And it looks like Steve Rex seems to have a little bit better speed here around Hickory. Just can't quite get it to hook up. And look out, Chris Klein getting a little loose there out of turn 4. That's going to stack him up there as 3rd through 5th. As you see Scott Tice there having to dive to the outside a little bit. Andy Patton there on the inside driving at 87. Trans Am almost coming together there with the 45, Tim McDowell. Down there now off the corner. Davey Runkle back there in 9th, just trying to hang on to what he has of a race car. 2 laps to go here at Hickory. White flag in the air. Here he goes. Jeff Clifton up front to try to get another win on the season. Steve Rex there in 2nd. As they work there now off turn 3 and 4. And oh no, Rex gonna hang on to it. He'll go backwards over the finish line, but he will get 2nd. As Clifton there in the front. Klein gets 3rd. What a night here so far. Your final results here. Jeff Clifton gets the win. Steve Rex there in 2nd. Chris Klein 3rd. Greg Parmalee there 4th. Scott Tice there 5th. Tim McDowell there in 6th. Eddie Patton there 7th. Greg Bristol there in 8th. Davey Runkle in 9th. Frank Griffith there in 10th. The Big Ingram there finishes 11th. Dustin Logston there in 12th. Adam Clark 13th. And Aaron Longworth finishes out in 14th tonight. Tough track. Congrats to the drivers that were able to survive tonight, as this is not an easy track. And now we'll get with your top 3 finishers of your street stocks here tonight. All right, getting here with Chris Klein. Good evening there, Chris. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you, sir?
Probably doing better than what you guys are.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating not being able to get more than a couple laps in. I would have liked to have seen a 20-lap run there, but, sometimes that's what you get on these smaller tracks.
Well, and like I was saying to the viewers here at FFTV, is this is not a typical SRA race with all these cautions. This is a typical Hickory race for sure.
Yeah, we generally do much better than that. I mean, we've had a lot of races that were really clean. I think the smaller tire on these and the worn-out surface on these, in real life, I think this track's getting paved in June or July of this year because it is so worn out and slick, so...
Yeah, it does seem like you guys have a hard time, especially just trying to hold that line enough without it getting loose and washing up the racetrack through the corners.
Yeah, very much so. You have to really use some throttle control to keep it from either A, pushing through the right front tire, or B, blowing the rear tires off and it's coming around on you. So you really had to play with the throttle to control both ends of the car.
Well, are we thinking that you'll be able to do better in the late model stocks here?
I botched my qualifying model, and then I got turned at the end of my heat race. I think I'm starting next to last or something like that for the main event. So we'll see. It'll be entertaining to say the least.
Well, it's been an entertaining night nonetheless, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, I hope we're putting on a decent show. Hopefully the late models with a few more laps will get people to settle down a little bit and try to get into a rhythm. And wider tire, a little more grip. Hopefully guys will take their time and we'll get some big green flag runs in.
Yeah, hopefully. And you got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting third place here in the street stock division tonight?
Yeah, just want to thank all the sponsors for the league, and then thank everybody that puts it on, especially Frank. I know it's a lot of work to go back and forth and setting up all the different sessions, and there's a lot of logistics behind it. So thank all of those people.
Alrighty, well, congrats there, Chris, and we'll see how you do in the late model stocks coming up.
Thanks, sir. Have a good night.
Alrighty. Steve-Rex, our second place finisher here. And Steve, how you doing?
Was decent. Obviously loose on the bottom. Pretty controllable on top. I preferred the top line. But really couldn't make no progress. I think I started that last.
That you did. Well, it seemed like you're really putting the heat on them. Just unfortunately, it's so hard to pass here at Hickory. Yeah, I pushed it a little too hard. I tried taking that low line just to see what fell back about 2 car lengths, and then I just threw it away from there. Well, and we know that you kind of lost control coming out of turn 4 there on that final lap, and luckily you still held on to second place. Well, you did it. You did it. You got second, and we'll see how you do. Are you coming out for the late model stocks? Alrighty, well, hopefully we'll see maybe some cleaner racing there, maybe some longer stretches of green flag runs. So, well, you got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for second place in the street stocks? Oh, it definitely is. And anytime you can get it broadcasting and things, it makes it even better. So, I mean, congrats to you drivers for putting on quite the show and the viewers for sticking through it with us. I mean, Hickory's just being Hickory tonight from what I can see. So, well, good luck to you, Steve, in the upcoming late models.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll get with third place. Or, I'm sorry, the winner. I'm going the wrong way. The winner, Jeff Clifton, out there out of Yadkinville, North Carolina, taking home the win here in the street stocks. Man, you held on to it.
Yes, sir.
Were you worried about holding on to it at all?
Not particularly. I mean, Hickory is a loose racetrack to begin with. Street stock is a loose car. Most of my success on iRacing is in a street stock, as opposed to like, say, the trucks. I'm more of a short track ringer kind of guy. If you put me in like a mile and a half, I'm lost. But for me tonight, it was just about getting out front early and managing restarts. As long as I could get a good jump on the restart and get clean and not race side by side with anybody, I was able to not burn my tires off, so that, you know, when we did finally get a few laps free, I was not as loose as everybody else was. I think that's what hurt me most.
Well, I mean, you did a great job hanging on to the lead, and they're coming to the finish. Were you worried about Steve Rex there behind you at all?
Yeah, I saw him coming. And he had speed. It was more worrisome that the track is loose, and even like the most minuscule amount of contact would have probably sent me into the wall or, you know, spinning. But I mean, it's one thing to get to somebody, it's another thing to pass. I think if I would have just kept it on the bottom, it would have been okay. If he would have got up, like if he would have got underneath me, it probably would have been over. But we didn't see that happen, so that's good.
Well, you held on to it, and you had yourself a great race here in the street stocks. Are you looking forward to the limited late or the late model stocks now?
Would you believe me if I said yes?
I don't know. I mean, it's a driver preference.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We got 100 laps. It's significantly longer than the street stock one. We'll see. Hopefully we get some really good long green runs. Hopefully not tear up the car.
Well, you did good getting through the street stock race, so we'll see how you do in the late model stocks. But
yes,
before you go, you got any sponsor shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting that victory here in the street stocks?
Yeah, as always, you for the broadcasts. I love watching them after. And thank Frank for putting up with us and doing all this. I'm sure he has a headache every single Friday night. And thank Kurt Patrick Construction. That's always a mouthful. And 4C's Tools and Equipment for sponsoring both of the series. So that's good.
Alrighty, well, congrats there, and we'll see exactly how your night goes in the late model stocks. So it's anybody's race. We saw the top two starters here not finish up there at the front. I think Greg Parmalee started on pole and finished fourth, so it's going to be interesting to see what the late model stocks provide.
Yeah, we're just going to try and keep it clean. Whatever else happens, happens.
Alrighty, well, good luck, Eric, Jeff.
I appreciate it.
All right, that'll wrap it up here with your street stocks. We'll be back here in just a quick moment with your late model stocks to finish out your night. Don't go anywhere. More racing coming up.
don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
All right, we're just waiting here, trying to get my dang overlays back up again. They're being real finicky tonight. Normally we don't have this much issue, but sometimes it does throw me a curveball every once in a while and makes my head spin at times. But at least my head spinning's a little bit more minor than Frank Griffin and the other admins here at SRA tonight. I mean, Hickory's just being Hickory tonight. That's all there is to it. So looks like we got everything lined up here, ready to go. We only got half the field here. See if we get more joining in here as they race their way in, but I only see about 9 drivers ready. See how it plays out here.
In a summer night, avoid those wrecks, keep it steady. Hold your line tight. Pushing limits, racing fast. No room for doubt. Every second's pump and pulse. The crowds are shout. Engines roar, hot sore. FFTV on the pole. Let it roll, let it roll, let it roll, let it roll. Burning rubber, burning hot.
Just waiting here for a moment here to see if we got any more. I think they're talking there possibly in the driver's area to see who is coming out. We're ready here on the broadcast end, waiting to see what they got going on there on the main area. We see a beautiful night here in Hickory Motor Speedway tonight. All right, let's see here. Wanting to find out what's going on here. Not sure if Ingram's having some problems there with his car, as he's still sitting there on pit road. Rex is there. Klein is in here. Clifton's in here. Griffith, Patton, Clark, McDowell, and Parmalee. We'll see if anybody, if we got issues or not. I don't know if we do. We'll be back here in a few moments. Don't go anywhere. We are getting this race figured out.
You down, 'cause late nights turn to days. Don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back. Only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't.
Precision is our language. Creativity is our weapon. And perfection is the only option. Your ride, your brand, your image, elevated to a level that can't be ignored. This isn't just a wrap, it's a revolution. Regal Wraps and Designs, where power meets style, and style becomes unforgettable. At Regal Wraps and Designs, we don't follow trends, we set them. Every line, every finish, every detail is built to dominate. From flawless vehicle wraps to bold custom designs, we take your vision and redefine it. Seamless statements, artful accents, hues of harmony. We are Regal Wraps and Designs.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
Precision is our language. Creativity is our weapon. And perfection is the only option. Your ride, your brand, your image, elevated to a level that can't be ignored. This isn't just a wrap, it's a revolution. Regal Wraps and Designs, where power meets style, and style becomes unforgettable. At Regal Wraps and Designs, we don't follow trends, we set them. Every line, every finish, every detail is built to dominate. From flawless vehicle wraps to bold custom designs, we take your vision and redefine it. Seamless statements, artful accents, hues of harmony. We are Regal Wraps and Designs.
Get things situated here. Problems and roads, but we got them figured out here. We're here at Hickory. Gotta bear with us. We've got the lineup up, right? And had to make sure we got drivers where they need to be. Cindy driving the mills here to get the setup right. We'll be going pretty right here.
Gears shift faster than lightning. We're ready to fly. Engines roar, heart soar, FFTV on the pole. Let it roll, let it roll, let it roll. Burning rubber, burning hot, lose control, from the pits to check.
All right, here we go. Starting on pole, Andy Patton in the 87. There in second, Jeff Clifton. And the 15 for Levithian Motorsports. The 39, Craig Bristol, starts inside row number 2 in that third position with Drew Holleran there to his outside in the 015. Row number 3 on that inside line for Stinger Motorsports. Mr. Money Shift, the 5 spot going to the 54 of Frank Griffin. Andy Patton there in the 87 starts to his outside in 6th. Row number 4, that inside line, the 45, Tim McDowell. To his outside there in 8th, the 04, Greg Parmalee. And the final row here tonight for your late model stocks, the 51, Chris Klein, starts on the inside in 9th for Numb Thumbs Racing, the Big Ingram, starting there in 10th. Here we go, starting there, your 100 laps for your whiskey run tonight. Here at Hickory, hopefully, we have a little bit better time with the late model stocks than what we did with your street stocks. Fred pulls off. Barney's got the flag. They're down and away in the corner number 1. Side by side, there you watch at 29. Rick Barbie out there. Barbray out there in front. Clifton there in second. Clifton, your winner of the street stocks. Gonna try to pull a second one here tonight. Down there on the inside, Drew Holleran trying to haul his way into third and does so at the moment with Craig Bristol falling back here into 4th. Look out, here comes Jeff Clifton underneath, getting that run as they work now there through turn 1 and 2. Down there off 2. Greg Parmalee back here in 7th in that 04. Chris Klein there in 8th. Tim McDowell in 9th. Joshua Ingram in that 16 trying to work his way there through. And oh boy, getting close. Almost a touch there. Coming in now off turn number 2. Now the backstretch. Great racing here in the late model stocks. A little bit more grip on these cars here from what it looks like as they keep it going around here in the circle of Hickory. Frank Ribbett back here on the inside. Trying not to get there yet, though, as he's working underneath the 39 of Greg Bristol. Bristol into the outside wall. Now they work down there through turn 1 and 2. Andy Patton there in 6th. Chris Klein there in 7th. Greg Parmalee there in 8th with Clifton hanging on to the lead. As you watch him coming there off turn number 4. Tim McDowell getting a little loose there off turn 4. A little bit in that 45 as he slides it through turn 1. Gathers it up for turn 2 down the back straightaway. That 45 looking a little bit loose there in certain areas of the racetrack. So got to try to keep it underneath them. Here's it roll down the front straightaway. Clifton leads the way out there in front. Barbray out there in second. Has company there from the 39 of Craig Bristol. Gets underneath him. Great job there. Ricky Barbary there out in third now as Drew Holleran gets underneath Frank Griffith. Frank Griffith trying to hang on up there at the top side. Holleran's falling back now there on that inside line. It seems like that outside group is starting to pick up a little bit as now we watch Andy Patton in the 87 work on that outside line. Getting a little bit squirrely and loose there. Has to try to gather it up as they now work off the corner. Clifton out there in the front. Bristol there in second. Griffith in the third now as he got around Barbray. Drew Holleran back here in fifth. Chris Klein in sixth. Andy Patton there in seventh. Working there on the inside. Or I'm sorry, no. He's working on the outside there of Chris Klein. Chris Klein finishing third in the street stock. Going to try to see if he can replicate that here in the late models. And he worked down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Now here out of 3 and 4. Greg Parmalee working there into 6. Andy Patton there in 7th. Down there on the bottom of 1 and 2, hanging on to it. You got the 16 of Joshua Ingram down there on the bottom. Clifton there out front. Bristol there in 2nd. Griffith there 3rd. Chris Klein back here in the 4th. With Ricky Barbre back here in the 5th. Greg Parmalee there 6th. Andy Patton 7th. Joshua Ingram there in 8th. Tim McDowell there in 9th. Drew Holleran back there in 10th as they keep it rolling there. Now off of 2. Down here in the 3 and 4. 15 laps ticked away. Just like that here in your late model stock. Down there now, down the front straightaway. Clifton still leads, but Craig Bristol's trying to find that momentum, trying to find that speed there in that Ford machine. Down there off turn number 4. Frank Griffith there in 3rd. Chris Klein sitting 4th right now. Greg Parmalee back there in the 5th. Hey, Watson still running around here at Hickory, almost coming here to a quarter of the way through very quickly. As everybody's spread out here, here's your biggest race right now. Tim McDowell there on the bottom in that 45, just trying to hang on. And Ricky Barbre, I think, is trying to hang on right now as well, as he's back there towards the back. As he's falling back really far now. Down there off turn number 1 and 2. Drew Holleran down there underneath them. Those guys really dropped a good bit here tonight. As Drew Holleran's down 5 spots, Ricky Barbre down 9. Andy Patton, Tim McDowell, both are sitting where they started. As Clifton's got up 1 position, Craig Bristol's up 1, Frank Griffith's up 2. Chris Klein, biggest mover of the night here, up 5 here in the late model stocks. He works there through turn 3 and 4. Heading here on to the front stretch. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the show here at FFTV on the pool here tonight, bringing you the SRA Late Model Stock Tour, brought to you by 4C's Tools and Equipment. Working there through 1 and 2. Chris Klein there 4th. Greg Parmalee 5th. Andy Patton there in 6th. Joshua Ingram back here in 6th now. Drew Holleran, he's down 4 spots. As Tim McDowell falls back here, he's in 9th position, just behind Holleran. Looks like he got into the outside wall and he gets into it again there. Out of turn 4. 24 of the 25 now of the 100 on the board. Down that back straightaway here as you watch Clifton rolling here into turn 3. Craig Bristol there 2nd. Griffith there in 3rd. Klein in 4th with Parmalee there in 5th. Andy Patton there 6th. Joshua Ingram there 7th. Drew Holleran there 8th. Tim McDowell there in 9th. Ricky Barbre there in 10th as they keep working there around Hickory tonight for the Whiskey Run 100. And you watch that Whiskey Run 50 or Small Batch 50, however you want to call it, there in the street stocks. Much better racing here in the late model stocks. Now they work there now out of turn 2. Andy Patton there in 6th. Greg Parmalee there in 5th. Chris Klein down there in the 4th. Frank Griffith there in 3rd. Greg Bristol 2nd. Jeff Clifton back out there leading the way here this Friday night. Now you got lap 29 now marked on the board here as they work through 1 and 2. On the backstretch, everybody's kind of spread out now. Try to see where these drivers are at. Is it all strung around the racetrack? Ricky Barbre clear back in the back, working down into 3 and 4 as Clifton comes there out of turn number 2. They may end up completing an entire circle here tonight. As Frank Griffith hangs on to 3rd, right there behind Bristol. Frank doing a great job here tonight at Hickory in the late model stocks. Completely different racing from what we saw in the street stocks. As we heard the drivers, they really commented on it. The street stocks are already somewhat of a loose race car. This track here at Hickory, a loose racetrack due to the worn out surface. So, I mean, you put the two together, and you ended up with a race like what we had, but here tonight, these late model stocks, man, oh man, they're running a great race. As you watch Frank Griffin come there off turn 2, Clifton there out front. Bristol back there in third, Chris Klein in fourth, Greg Pomerly there fifth, Joshua Ingram sixth, Andy Patton in seventh, Drew Holleran there in eighth, as Tim McDowell is there in ninth, Ricky Barbray there in 10th as they keep it working there now off the corner, up there at the top side to 15. Jeff Clifton out there in front. Greg Bristol back there in third, Chris Klein there in fourth, Greg Pomerly there in fifth. Big Ingram back here in sixth as they keep it rolling here. Everybody's still on the lead lap for the time being. Tim McDowell ends up falling back into 10th, giving that spot over to Barb Ray. As Holleran's there in 8th, Patton there in 7th. As Frank Griffith gets up there in the 2nd, doing a decent run here tonight for that machine. And look at the donut there on the side of that 54 machine here as he rolls down here in the corner, 3 and 4. You can see the big donut there on the side of that machine. Right there behind the front wheel. He's got a huge donut there on the side. Nothing like short track racing, getting that donut there on the side. Greg Pomerly there in the 04, sitting in 5th tonight. As they now work there off, there comes Ingram down through 3 and 4. Lap 40 out the 100 here complete. Clifton there out front, Griffith in 2nd, Bristol 3rd. Chris Klein there for it, Pomerly back there in 5th. Andy Patton, Barb Ray back here in 8th, trying to work his way forward once again as he's down there through the groove on the bottom of the racetrack. And he works underneath of Andy Patton in that 87. Slowly bringing it through on the corner, 3 and 4, seeing some rubber fly there as these tires wear in here at lap 40. These cars might start getting loose here as we're about halfway into the race. He's probably going to have to really start watching that throttle control here as you start the leader getting up here to the lap down machine now of Tim McDowell as Tim McDowell goes a lap down here. Frank Griffith now has got to try to find a way. Here we got the 51 of Chris Klein going underneath of Craig Bristol. Bristol falling back now in the 4th as Chris Klein, great job there into 3rd. Now we're trying to see who is going to hang on to the spots. We've got Barb Ray now in the 7th as he tries to find a little bit of extra speed. See here where he stands on here with the leaders. Right now, Ricky Barbray is the fastest out there on the speedway. From what I'm seeing, with a 14.91, we'll see what we got here coming across this time. His last time, 14.91. And the leaders are running 15. Drew Holleran just ran a 14.91 as well. Clifton's running a 15, so they're going to have trouble there. Rolling past the lap car machine of McDowell. Bristol there in 4th. Pomerly. So Griffith, the slower of the top three. But Bristol, he's slower than what Griffith is, and hanging on there to that spot there in 4th. As they're coming around here, closing in on halfway. Hey, watch that 54. Frank Griffith work off a turn 2. Chris Klein there in 3rd. Craig Bristol back there 4th. Greg Pomerly here in a Sim Shot 04 working there in the corner 3 and 4. Big Ingram there out and out of 4. Underneath them though, and Ricky Barbray, who's making some ground here. That last lap he ran a 15 flat. So he's trying to gain some of that momentum back here. Run these guys down there at the front. It's going to be a tall order here as we're on lap 52. Working through 3 and 4. Frank Griffith and Chris Klein here off of 4 down across the stripe. Ricky Barbre back here through 3 and 4 now himself. And a great looking plum purple on that machine. I'm going to call it plum purple. I could be wrong, but it's great looking color on that late model stock. As Chris Klein there in 3rd, slowly gaining on the 54 of Griffith. As Griffith might have burned up some stuff there running that lower line. I'm unsure though. Clifton out front, going underneath of Andy Patton, putting Andy Patton a lap down. They're working there now off the corner. Chris Klein, Craig Bristol. Greg Parmalee there in 5th. Ricky Barbre there in 6th. Now here with lap 56 on the board. Now lap 57 here as Frank Clifton comes across the line. Griffith there 2nd. Klein there in 3rd. And Barbre still the fastest on the racetrack there in 6th. I don't know if those few seconds are going to matter too much here, but we still got 42 laps to go as they come there out of turn 4. Watching Clifton now as he works there through turn 4. And Barbre works off of 2. About a half a track here between Clifton and Barbre from what I'm catching here. And we come here in a lap 60 on the board. So next time by, 40 laps to go here at Hickory for your late model stocks. This is the typical type of SRA racing viewers are used to seeing as they work there now off of turn 4. Everybody just running single file right now. Barbre, though, back here in 6th, putting down great lap times. Where that last lap, he was not the fastest. In fact, Drew Holleran was the fastest there in the 015. Back here in the 7th. And I think part of that is because Barbre's coming up there on the brisk. And Barbre's trying to find a way around him easily. Down there now through turn 3 and 4. So he's getting a little bit hung up back here. As the 04 of Parmalee's trying to find a way around the lap machine there of Tim McDowell. Tim McDowell working there now off turn 2. There goes the 04, Greg Parmalee underneath him, and that's going to allow Craig Bristol there as well. I'm sorry, not Craig Bristol, but Ricky Barbre to work there with him. Down there now off the corner. Now those two should start picking up some speed here for themselves. They work down there through 3 and 4. Ricky trying to get up there into a top 5 spot if he can, as he works now on into 1 and 2. Down there now onto the backstretch. Clifton comes across the line going into turn number 1. Griffith there in 2nd. Klein there in 3rd, just trying to hang on there the best those two can. And there's still some fast cars out there on the speedway. Ricky Barbre being one of them as he gets around Greg Parmalee and gets himself into a top 5 position at the moment. Working there now out of turn number 4. Clifton there coming across the line to bring it to lap 68 of the 100. Griffith there in 2nd, Klein there in 3rd. Will Griffith hang on there to that 2nd position, or will Chris Klein end up falling off? Man, oh man, great job here by these SRA drivers here in the late model stocks. Wish we would have had the field of 19 or so that we had earlier on for your heat races, but understand things can come up. Maybe they got a little wore out there from the street stock race, as now these drivers buckled up here through turn 3 and 4. Clifton out there in front. Griffith there in 2nd. Chris Klein in 3rd, looking underneath of Frank Griffith. Can't quite get there yet as he works off of turn 2. Down there now in the 3 and 4, coming around here. Griffith there in the corner, number 1. 30 laps to go here at Hickory for the Whiskey Run 100. Here tonight, Chris Klein there in 3rd. Bristol back here in 4th. Barbre hanging on there to 5th as they work through 3 and 4 here. There's Klein still working on the back bumper of Griffith. Off of turn 2. Down there through. Off of 3 and 4. There you see Klein looking underneath. Can't quite get there. Clifton up there on the top. Now here through the middle. 3 and 4 coming here, bringing it to 27 to go. As he comes across the line. Griffith there still hanging on in front of Klein. They're now off the quarter. Craig Bristol there in the fourth. Ricky Barbray there in fifth. Drew Holleran back here in sixth. As they're coming up there into the lap machine of Andy Patton. And oh no! Our first caution of the night. Ricky Barbray gets into the back of Andy Patton, sending him around. First caution here in the late model stocks. I thought we were going to go green the flag on this one. I don't know. That was just the closing speed was much greater than what the 39 thought it was. But man, oh man, here we watch him coming there off turn number 2. Down his back straightaway. It's just, he comes up there so quick and yeah, it just sends the 87 around. First caution of the late model stocks here tonight. This 10th of April. Got the 51 there of Chris Klein out in front. Craig Bristol there in a 4. Ricky Barbray there in 5th tonight. Craig Bristol 4th, Ricky Barbray there 5th, Drew Holleran there in 6th. Here we go down there through the corner, 23 laps to go. As they work down or off of the corner, great job there by these drivers in the late model stocks here tonight. Jeff Clifton out there in front, Chris Klein there in second, Frank Griffith hanging on the third now after that restart. As caution comes back out, Craig Bristol having issues back here with Ricky Barbray. Cautions breed cautions here. You watch them down the back straight, or coming down here in the corner number 1 and 2. And coming there off 2. They just come together there off the corner. Fighting for the same spot on the racetrack. And end up parked down there on the inside. Clifton and Klein trying to cool them tires off. Clifton back, Griffith back here in third. Drew Holleran, good run from him here, getting back up here in the fourth. Greg Parmalee, Ricky Barbray, Craig Bristol, all having decent nights here in the late model stocks. Ingram back here, lap down. McDowell lap down. Andy Patton a lap down back here at the back. Lights out, they're getting lined back up here as they work now off of turn 2. After our second caution, hopefully that's the last of them here. These drivers did prove they can run green laps in these late model stocks. But I'm wondering if them tires might be causing a little bit of problems now here as they work off of turn 4. 17 laps to go. Down the front straightaway in the corner, number 1. Clifton out there in front. Ripton. Oh no, there goes another caution as the 015 of Holleran punts the back of Frank Griffith, sending him spinning off of turn 2. Here they come down here in the 1 and 2, and you'll just see it here. The 15 comes underneath and just punts the back of Frank Griffith, bumping him right around there off of turn 2. Hey, what coming here off the corner, and the 15 just gives him a nice shot there. So Holleran up into 3rd now after getting into the back of Griffith. Griffith falls back into 7th. I don't know if Griffith liked that too well. Ten drivers here to try to finish it out. 3rd caution. The drivers did so well here at the beginning. Now you're going to let the cautions go and fly here. I'm sure Clinton wanted to keep watching it go and be strung out there as he's hanging on to the lead, but not by much. Chris Klein there in 2nd. Drew Holleran, Greg Bromley, Ricky Barbre. He's brought himself back up here in the 5th. And lights go out, and they're going back side by side here as they roll off of turn 2. Down that back straightaway. Red will pull off on the pit lane. 16 laps to go here at Hickory for your main event here tonight. Your late model stocks. Ticked through the laps really quickly here. Got through 3/4 of the race before our first caution. And now it's just been caution fest here as they come now off of turn 2. Looking good so far. Ricky Barbre now there in the 4th as he works underneath Chris Klein along with Drew Holleran, and Drew Holleran works underneath there, down in the corner, number 1 and 2. Holleran down there, underneath Chris Klein. Now here comes Ricky Barbre underneath as well. Going to try to hold it underneath. Can't quite get enough speed to get the nose under. Chris Klein hangs on there to 2nd. Across the line, driving that thing as hard as he can here with 17 laps to go. As they work here in the corner, number 3 and 4. Jeff Clifton out there in front. Liking what he's seeing once again as they're fighting side by side here once again behind him. The 04, Greg Parmalee underneath of Ricky Barbre as Griffith's got himself back here in the 6th once again. Now he's looking underneath of Barbre and will get there. Chris Klein there in 2nd. Jeff Clifton out there in the front. Got some speed back to these cars with those laps wound down there. Under those caution laps, those tires pulled down a little bit, giving a little bit extra grip, I think, in certain areas of the racetrack. Drew Holleran out there in 3rd. Greg Parmalee there in 4th. As now Frank Griffith and Barbre battle it out for that 5th position. And the 39, Craig Bristol, trying to bring it along there with them. As you watch Clifton out there in front, 13 laps to go here at Hickory Speedway tonight. Down there through turn 2. Down through 3 and 4. Off of 4 across the line. Jeff Clifton out front. Chris Klein sitting there in second. Drew Holler in their third. Greg Pomerly there in fourth. And Frank Griffith there fifth. Greg Bristol sixth. Ricky Barbre there in seventh. As they keep it working down there now off the start-finish line into corner number 1 and 2. 11 laps to go. We're the SRA Late Model Stock Tour here tonight, brought to you by the 4 C's Tool and Equipment. Chris Klein in second, Drew Holler in their third, Greg Pomerly in their fourth, Frank Griffith their fifth, Greg Bristol in sixth, Ricky Barbre rounding out there in seventh right now, as he seems to be a little bit of a late bloomer here on these longer runs, and I just don't think Barbre is going to have the long run he's wanting to try to get back up there towards the front. Now we got 9 laps to go here at Hickory Speedway. Craig Bristol there in the fifth. Frank Griffith not able to get up there and get into a top 5 spot. Chris Klein, Drew Holler up there in the second. After helping himself up into the top 3, cutting Frank Griffith around there. Jeff Clifton out there in front, just doing what he does best, keeping cool and driving on. With Drew Holler in there in second, Greg Pomerly there third, Chris Klein in fourth. And Craig Bristol rounding out your top 5 in that number 39 here tonight. And we see Andy Patton in danger of going another lap down here. As they got 5 laps to go, coming here off turn number 4 and across the line. An open hand, 5 to go here at Hickory as they wind it through turn 1 and 2. Drew Holler down there on the inside, the 04, Greg Pomerly. Chris Klein there in fourth with Craig Bristol rounding out there in fifth right now. And as we keep watching them roll around Hickory tonight. Andy Patton there on the inside, going into the pits. He might be calling it a night there. Down there in the pits with 4 laps to go. As you see the 45 of Tim McDowell trying to get around the bottom side of Ricky Barbre down there off the corner. Off the start-finish line in the corner number 1 they go. Drew Holler in there second. Greg Pomerly there in third with Chris Klein now back in the fourth. As white flags in the air for Jeff Clifton. One more time around at Hickory here tonight as they come there off of turn 2. Into 3 and 4, the white or the checkered flag is waving, it's unfurled, and Jeff Clifton, your winner tonight here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Ten drivers, 9 cars across the line. Andy Patton packing it up early. As your victory winner there at Jeff Clifton gets the win here for the second time tonight. There is your race results. Jeff Clifton getting the win. Drew Holler in there in second. Greg Pomerly there third. Chris Klein in fourth. Greg Bristol there fifth. Frank Griffith in sixth. Ricky Barbre there in seventh. Tim McDowell there in eighth. The big Ingram getting the 9th position tonight. Andy Patton struggled here at Hickory tonight. Coming home there in 10th. All right, now we'll get with your winners here, hopefully. Yeah, that's a great job here tonight. Thank you all for sticking it out with us here at On the Pole. Feels like my voice is going here by the end of this one. We'll see how it goes. As our winners here. All right, we'll get with Greg Pomerly. Good evening there, Greg. How's it going?
Pretty good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Good, great. Boy, it's, got lucky toward the end there. I thought I was a goner when Chris bounced off the wall there.
So did these cars loosen up there at the end? Is that part of what went on?
Oh yeah, they loosened about 30, 40 to go. Yeah, you had to really watch
watch the throttle. It was a handful. You just kind of had to be a little easy on the throttle, and I tried to swing out and not pinch it down so much and let the car just float up, and that seemed to help a little bit. But yeah, you was kind of had to watch it there. It didn't take much to spin it around, and of course you had to keep your head on a swivel, look for everybody around you and who's behind you. It was fun. It's tell you what, 100 laps around this track, that wears you out.
Well, and for some of you guys, you put in 150 laps tonight or more.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a long, fun night. I had a blast. I mean, it was great running with everybody. So,
I mean, I know you didn't.
Good times.
I know you didn't quite have the finish in the street stocks that you were hoping for, but I mean, you made up for it here in the late model stocks.
Yeah, the street stock out front and spinning out. Yeah, that was kind of ran out of talent there, didn't I? But it was a good time. It's just hard to come from the back, and you just kind of have to just be patient and wait for a wreck and make sure you're not part of the wreck, and try to stay clean the whole time. That's the biggest part of the short track racing, and I need to do more of it. I'm having a good time. It's a fun league.
Well, I know these short tracks are definitely fun, and my favorite car on the short tracks is the old 34 Legends. I like to pretend I'm an old moonshiner going through the paces there. But I mean, these things look fun out there too, as you guys really put on a great show here with the late model stocks. Not quite the Hickory disaster of the street stocks, but
yeah, I got a little rough, didn't it? And I thought they actually handled better than these cars toward the end. But yeah, they're both these small short tracks like this. It's all about managing your tires, staying out of trouble. Same for having a little bit of luck on your side. That definitely helps.
You did a great job. You got sponsors. Shout out to anybody you want to thank for getting third place tonight in these late model stocks.
Oh yeah, I want to thank Frank for running the league. He's doing a great job, and you for the broadcast. It's awesome to go back and watch these. I have a good time. You're doing a great job, and I think it's Kirkpatrick Construction. Is that correct? And 4Cs Construction, I believe, and everybody else involved, and like I said, all the guys in the league, just a good group of guys. A good thing to do on a Friday night. Lots of fun.
Yeah, it looks like you guys have been having lots of fun, and we'll hopefully see you again next week here at SRA as we take on another short track here.
All right, thank you much. Have a good day.
All right, that was Greg Parmalee. Now we'll get with Drew Holler in here. Good evening there, Drew. Your mic's muted. It's Adam here. How's you doing here tonight?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well, man. You got yourself up there into the top three, giving a old-fashioned bump and run there, but nonetheless, you did a great job getting there into second place tonight. How do you think the late model handled here tonight?
They definitely handled a little dodgy at some points, but tire saving was certainly the key. So thank you, Ricky. Before the race, he was teaching me about tire saving, and I figured it out by the end. And then I got that damage. I don't know what happened, if they checked up in front of me or what, but they handled great. Sometimes they didn't. So you kind of had to take the good with the bad and back up your corners if they weren't handling so good, and then if they were, then go at it. So. Kind of went both ways, if I say so.
Well, you did a great job there tonight. It looked like you guys had a blast out there in the late model stocks, and you come up a couple positions and got yourself a second place finish. So should help you out a little bit in points. We'll see how it goes the rest of the season, though. You got sponsor shout outs. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, OK's Heating and Plumbing and Trolls Tavern. They've been a big help to put this program together, and you look at some of the other cars out there, we're not quite as fancy as them, so we do what we can with what we got, and I think we proved that tonight.
All righty, well, congrats there, and we'll see how next week goes as we take on another short track.
Thank you. Shout out to everybody watching, too. Appreciate them, and appreciate we had some technical issues. They're stuff with the grid at the beginning, and everybody sat through it and got through it and figured it out, and we got back to racing. So wanted to shout that out too.
All righty. Well, great job there.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll get with your winner, Jeff Clifton. Good evening there, Jeff. How's it going?
Oh, just winning.
Just winning. Well, it must feel pretty good. I mean, was it you that had trouble with the internet there a few weeks back?
Yeah, and like last week, I think I won the street stock race, and during my interview I said I'm making up for lost time. Those I think it was 2 weeks that I missed total. So I think I've made up for it now that I'm good for the rest of the season.
Well, I know that you that one week you said you were leading it, and somebody started to mention something about internet, and then poof, you were gone.
Yeah, and funnily enough, that race I think it was Myrtle Beach. Like on the initial start, I think all but like 2 cars wrecked and were out of the race for the remainder of the race. So it was literally just going to be me and another guy just kind of cruising to the end, and then I have the internet problems and I'm gone. So.
Oh, the world of technology, right? But great night here at Hickory for you. You really put on quite a show. Staying patient, staying cool under the pressure, and pretty much guiding the car to victory lane here. Nothing better on a Friday night, right?
No. That initial start, though, I mean, it wasn't without its anxiety tonight, because I saw that, I don't know who it was, I think it was the 29 car, started on pole. I started outside, and I got by him pretty quick, and then he dropped all the way in the back, and I was like, what is he doing? I don't know if he's saving tire or what. I mean, my plan was just to try and get out front and do what I did in the street stock race, just manage, because I figured there would probably be a few cautions for this one too. And I was just going to try and manage the restarts like I did before and try to win it that way. But, I mean, we went green for a long time.
You went green almost 3/4 of the race.
Yeah. And I did okay saving my tires. Towards the end there, I was getting a little bit tight. But with those back-to-back restarts, my tires cooled down enough to where that last bit, I think it was like 20 laps, 19 laps, something like that, my tires were cooled off enough that I had significantly more grip than I had at the end of the green flag run.
So those cautions kind of help bring grip back to the race car then?
Absolutely. And I mean, Hickory's one of them tracks where it's just like, if you find a good rhythm, then you'll be okay. Like, if you're not comfortable the whole race, you're not going to have a good time. And if you're racing side by side with somebody, you're going to burn your stuff up quick. And I think that's what helped me most tonight, was just getting out front in clean air and being able to utilize the entire track and not burn my stuff up too bad.
Well, and kind of going along those lines, you don't have to be the fastest every lap. You got to be the fastest overall. And, when Earnhardt was racing senior, I forget who he went up to, but I heard the story a couple times where he walked up to somebody up farther in the grid than where he gridded up. And he looked at me and said, "I'll see you in a few laps." He's like, "Why? I'm faster than what you were in qualifying." He goes, "I'll see you in a few laps." And as the race progressed, because he was that much more comfortable with his setup, he knew where he could push that car.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing. Like, you can be fast and you can set a hot lap, but if you don't have a good rhythm and you're not smooth, it's not sustainable, and you're not going to be able to run a 100-lap race and still be quick at the end of it.
Yeah, it's not that 2-lap rhythm that really counts. It's that long run, stretched out rhythm that you really need.
Right.
So, well, great job there, Jeff, tonight getting the win in both the street stocks and the late model stocks. You got anybody you want to thank for getting that victory here at Hickory in the late models?
Oh, sure. You, again, for the broadcasts. Frank, for putting up with us. And I'm sure he's going to go and take some Tylenol or something. He's probably going to put a cold compress on his head, cover his eyes with something, and he's going to be thankful that tonight's over with. Let's see, 4C's Tools and Equipment and Kirkpatrick Construction for putting this on, giving us something to do on a Friday night. This is just a lot of fun.
All right, well, great job there, Jeff. And before we go, I see that we got the league main runner here, Frank Griffin. How are you doing tonight?
Well, there's a reason why I named this race the Whiskey Run, right?
Well, I've been wondering where my whiskey's at. I love corn whiskey. Where you guys got it hidden at?
Yeah, well, I got to ride back with Josh, and he's got it under the seat. So we'll get to it. But no, isn't it interesting how those two races contrasted each other? The street stocks and the late models. How the late models, you got more horsepower, more grip, and you almost go caution free. And the street stocks, man, you couldn't even breathe on each other without spinning somebody out. I think I hit everyone in that race.
Well, I was trying to figure out if anybody watching in the street stock race took a tally on who wasn't involved hitting a wall or bumping into something that street stock race.
Yeah, I don't know. It was it was interesting because I messed up and didn't click on the zero fast repairs like we try to do in the league, and it turns out we needed that tonight. And then we made sure that we gave everybody one in the late models because of what we saw in the street stocks, and I don't think anybody used one. So it's just interesting how that all transpired.
Well, did the drivers know they had the fast repairs in the street stock? Do you think that might have played a little bit of a role in that?
Maybe. It's the way that car was. It's so floaty. I don't know if that's a metric floaty or a standard floaty, but it wasn't in the track, and so I think I hit Josh a couple times. He had some great runs, and then he'd try to get by me, and my car would be sideways. It's just if you just barely got in their hit box, they were going around, and it just tight track. It's a bull ring, one groove racetrack. Tough night, but also a fun night. We ended on a good note.
That you did, and I mean the cars look great. Everybody seemed to keep it together for the most part, and everybody's going home. That's the biggest thing.
Oh yeah, and my right front tire was 4% at the end of that run, so I was glad it was done.
So you're saying you're glad you didn't have any more cautions?
I'm glad that I'm loading that thing on the trailer and headed to the house because I'm tired after that one.
I don't know who you got into here in the late model stocks, but you had a pretty good sized donut on the passenger side of that car.
Yeah, no, I found that online and throwed that on the car. I thought it would be kind of cool.
Oh, I thought maybe it was an iRacing thing. I didn't realize you put it there purposely.
No, I put it on there in the paint.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's placed perfect like you got into somebody getting through the corner tonight.
That's all good. All these guys are great.
So you guys had a great night here, and hopefully we can continue that into next week.
Yeah, we'll be a lot better next week.
Well, you're not at Hickory, so it should be.
Yeah, I think, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, you're looking forward to Slinger, right?
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. It's going to be fun. I had fun tonight. I think I hit everything on the track, and I was involved in every caution. I'm pretty sure. I think I used about 18 fast repairs, but it was fun.
You hit everything but one thing.
The pace car.
The pace car. You didn't go out for that perfect score of the pace car.
I couldn't get close enough to him. I'd wreck before I get there.
And I was the wreck.
It was a fun night, though. It was a long night, but it was a fun night. Had a new car out and testing it out, and I think I'm going to stick with it for a little while, even though we had to fix it a lot of times. But
well, you guys had a great night. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next Friday night as we get ready to sign off here at FFTV.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you all for joining us here at FFTV on the pole for this episode from Hickory Motor Speedway. We will catch you next week as we take on another speedway here on your Friday night short track series from SRA. Have yourselves a great weekend and catch you next time.